Okay. Left. Hallo Menschen. Hello people. Yeah, let's numb this down a little. Hey, I am Ando. I'm the game designer of Soviet Kitchen, and now I'm trying to explain to you how solo mode works. I would have preferred to show you like actual gameplay with multiple players, but just to make it easier for myself and the video, I will just try solo mode with you. And what I have in my hands is almost all of the playing cards from Soviet Kitchen. And before we play, you should know what you can find on those cards. Just as examples, this is Caviar, this is rotten meat, this is blue jeans. So there's many different ingredients of things that you find on your way through the Soviet Union and things that you throw into the meat grinder during play. And this game is all about cooking, and it's specifically about cooking colors. So just to try that with you, we go to high score mode and we play solo. And now I'm trying to change the camera for a bit so you can see a little better. The first task that you get is to shuffle the cards, which I'm going to do now. And once this is done, you are supposed to take 14 ingredients in your hands, but this can change. Because we are playing a shorter mode now, I'm only going to take 12 cards to make this a little tighter, but it doesn't really change much about gameplay. So these are all my hand cards. There's many different things. For example, I have wine, I have tin soldiers, I have lab rats. Some of these ingredients are very toxic and others are really okay. And now it's my task to mix this menu that you can see over here. It consists of like a deep purple to pinkish sausage and some krauts like cabbage that is more in a teal tone. I'm sorry if I don't know like the perfect words for colors in English, but I think you'll be fine. So if I would play with other players, it would now be my time to talk, time to discuss which color refers to what I can see in the upper right corner. But because I am by myself, I need to discuss that with myself, and especially for this video I'm going to discuss it with you. So when you start the game, toxication is not really an issue, so you can really go all in and really concentrate on colors. This is where I try to avoid wine for the moment. Wine is detoxifying because it's alcoholic, so we won't play that maybe. But if it's really necessary, we are going to. But yeah, I think I'm going to try pigtails as one of the colors that I scan and that I throw into the meat grinder. And it works like this. So I don't know if you heard something, but now this goes to my pile. And the pigtails is in here, but we need one more color to mix the sausage. And I think the king's crab is not so bad, but I would rather go for something more toxic at the moment, because otherwise it will make me problems later. But yeah, there's nothing really fitting, so king's crab will do. So both are in. The meat grinder like throws out the result, and it tells me that this was a percentage of 73, which is pretty fun. So let's continue with the cabbage, or the Kraut as we Germans say. And this is teal green, sorry. And it refers a bit to my copper scrap, I think, but copper scrap is a little too blue. So then I have a grenade, which is pretty green. But this grenade may destroy another ingredient, like it has a special ability. So I will try something quite toxic mixed with the copper scrap, and that's my nuclear waste. So in solo mode you just play 2 cards, the order doesn't matter. If you would play as 2 players, each of you would have to contribute 1 card, but your order doesn't matter either. So that was 81%, that's quite good. And now we get a score. This score tells me that I just earned 155 rubber. This is referring to the percentages that I made. It just adds up, basically. But I'm also quite high on toxication. And what's especially dangerous for me is radioactive toxication, because it can never fade. Jumping forth a little, I'm already at order number 7, and my cards are relatively worse now. And I just lost a life because my food didn't relate to the color that was ordered. So, and also I lost 2 cards by that, so now I have less opportunities than I had before. So I'm supposed to make a blue color now, and I don't have anything blue actually. What I do have is... Ooh, this is difficult really. I tried with the greenish one, the grenade, and it will also destroy another card. So I'm playing the grenade. It goes to my pile. And now I destroy a card that I find very bad concerning its toxication, which is atomic waste. The second one, the other one we had earlier. And this might be enough. This might be enough similarity to go through. Yeah, 63%. What we needed was 50. And we go to the clouds. And that's quite lucky, I think, because I have peanuts and butter, and they really fit. They really fit well. Yeah, peanuts is a bit of a random luck game. It's either that your custom has an allergic reaction or not. So we'll see what happens. Luckily, nobody is allergic. Yes, that's good. And the butter, I think together this will be a very, very good match. Little too saturated maybe, but still very, very good. Okay, that's a lot of money that we just made. Okay, so this goes onto account. We almost hit the 1000, but toxication is really bad now. I take four new cards. I just recognized that the app tells me to take 6 new cards. But I'm only taking 4 because we just changed the game mode, like just today, so that this high score mode now is done with dishes of only 2 components. But in the game you'll also find different dishes with 3 components. So depending on the dish, this extra message must be adjusted, and we just didn't do that by now. Okay, so how to not to die with this? I think, and that's one of the important strategies of Soviet Kitchen, if you have the feeling that you will not make it through the round, like that your thermometer will hit the top, then you should go all in really, and just concentrate on very high toxic cards so that they're gone for the next rounds. And this is pretty good now. Doesn't really apply for radioactive waste, but anything else. And the other option would be to try to use Matryoshka, because it can reset the poison. But it has a random color, so we'll see what it does. If we're lucky, it's bluish. Yes, that was really lucky. It's kind of bluish. And this saved me really now. Second color is moths. Yeah, that was good. And yellow. I really lost almost all of the yellow earlier in the game, so I have to go for my radioactive waste, and I have to go for Bubliki. Future is going to be really hard because my radioactive toxication is really taking plenty of space in my thermometer, and now I lost a life. This counts down to 1 Matryoshka instead of 2, so this is the last life that I have to try and save as long as possible. But yeah, my situation is relatively bad. So instead of 4 new cards, I only take 2. This is kind of the punishment for having lost a life. And this means that I only have 8 cards if I'm not miscalculating. Yep. So we go on with only 8 cards, and we're supposed to make a very, very dark blue, and there's nothing dark blue in my hands really. So yeah, that's a threat. This round is really a threat. I go for the tires because it's the darkest that I have. And I go for the pine cone because I don't have anything else that is even vaguely close. So yeah, I really fear that my food is going to be refused. Oh yeah, that was just quite below what was expected. So this meant that I lost. I didn't get money for this round, and I made a score of about 1000. So what we didn't implement until now is the high score itself. So that also was the reason why you didn't see your final score in the very end. Where you can see your final score already and how well you're doing is the campaign mode, where you also have specific tasks to just show you that some of the pieces are not exactly where they're supposed to be yet, but this is going to change within the next 2 weeks. So I go into the chapter front as an example and pick the level improvisation, and there will also be a bit of a story, someone telling you what happened last or what happens next. In this case, the Commandante is saying, "What do you mean by there is no food? Find something. Should the pilots fight hungry against the Nazis?" And your task is actually to survive 5 meals without losing 2 lives that you have in the beginning. So, and these icons tell you that you have 2 lives and the color expectancy is 50%. And during the game you also have a bar at the very bottom that tells you how far you went through this level, through this mission. And depending on how well you do, you get a higher score or a lower score, and your bank account is filled up more or less with money. Yeah, so these are the 2 game modes to play. Either you go into high score or you go into the campaign. And what is also very interesting about the campaign, and which we find innovative and also fun, is that actually not all of these cards that are played are unlocked from the very beginning. Instead, you start with about 50 cards to play at hand, and then you have to go through different missions to unlock new cards. And these cards are referring to the areas where you can find these things. As an example, most of the ingredients from the start are referring somewhat to military stuff or tundra landscape. But once you go to the village, you will find more stuff that is more urban related or human related, like trash. And later you will even find posh stuff at the Kremlin. So just to give you an overview of what this game has to offer. Apart from that, there's, I think, many things that are relatively new to card games, but that I might have forgotten now because we have quite some things to contribute, I think. So if you're interested in the game, you can either write us, you can also write questions in the board at Board Game Geek or here on YouTube. And you may also just visit us at Hall 5117 at the Spiel 18 Essen. You can also win the game actually, if you're like really good at mixing colors. You can show us that, and if you win the daily high score, then you get a game from us, and good luck with that. Even if you're just interested or want to say hi, you're very welcome to do that, and have a good evening.